So I chose the title, Unleashing Your Team's Creative Potential, because I believe that building a business is a creative act, and that growing a brand is a co-creative one. I'd like you to have in the back of your mind during the talk and perhaps the conference, what does it mean to co-create the future? Conferences like this really can change the course of your future. As Andy mentioned, I met him at a conference about innovation 2 or 3 years ago. So I might not be standing here today if it wasn't for that conference. I also wouldn't have won the conference's innovation competition, which got me thinking, why was that experience of solving the problem posed by the competition such a different experience to what I was having in my business? And with that, I realized that I had insights and experience into the creative process that I wasn't actually using in my business. When I used them for the competition, it was relaxed and spacious, and I was throwing around all these ideas, and I didn't know whether I had a winning entry. It was submitted with complete uncertainty. And that was the difference, as Doug touched upon in his talk. In my business, I was trying to be professional, and that meant being certain. And with a background in website design and brand design, I've been finding that pretty much the main thing that I do is to help organizations navigate the creative process, giving it a structure, supporting them through the process to make something. So I'm not going to talk so much about how to make individuals creative, because I do believe everybody is creative, and so the problem is not a lack of creativity, the problem is often a lack of understanding of the process and what creativity needs in relationships, in organizations to thrive. If there's one thing that I'd love you to take away from this talk, is that the ingredients you need to solve any problem in your business or organization exist in your business already. In your people, the information is already there, and the individuality needed for creativity is already there. So I had a client who didn't know what made them different. And they were a firm of accountants. And they were worried about the fact that they didn't even know why somebody would choose them over another accountant in their locality. And so I went on a little fact-finding mission and involved them in the process. And so I asked them what they were passionate about. So, very similar questions to what I asked you. And they said, horses. Am I allowed to say horses? Because it doesn't really seem to be anything to do with my business. And I said, yes. And I was thinking in the back of my head, trust the process. There must be a reason, a connection here somewhere, because this is the same person. And sure enough, we discovered that the reason that they really enjoy the work that they do is the same reason they really enjoy spending time with their horses. Because in both scenarios, they get to use their intuitive communication skills, respond quickly to, things that happen unpredictably in business and on the field, on the horse, and support the horse or the business to navigate those by being calm and keeping it simple and using their intuitive powers, which, being intuitive, they weren't even really conscious that they were doing it, and that had knock-on effect. So when taking on new staff, they didn't really know how to communicate who they were and who was a good fit, because they didn't understand what made them special and what it was about them that was creating the personal relationships that they had. My starting point was that I was helping people with their website strategy and their brand strategy, and I was talking to lots of people at events like these and networking, and I realized people were more or less asking the same questions regardless of what industry they were in, what phase of business, and oftentimes it was always about, how can I connect with the people I want to work with in a way that builds the relationships that I need to make a difference in my business and the world? And I realized that all the questions that I would ask my clients in order to find out more about them and find the best way of that can be expressed or represented in their communications also applied internally to how they can be to day-to-day activities. So yes, your brand creates that definition that can be applied internally or externally. I realized that all the questions I was asking fit into these 6 areas, which are the 6 keys to meaningful engagement. The first thing I wrote down was relationships. And then I thought, why? It's because conversations with others accelerate learning, development, and motivation to act on creative ideas. Which leads us to the last slide. What does it mean to co-create the future? I'd like you to write down what that means to you. And there is no right or wrong answer. And I want to shout out to Andy as well for giving us the opportunity to co-create this together. And it is amazing, really, thinking about how, seeing already 3 people. Andy didn't know what these talks were going to be about, and I can see the threads. It's just amazing.
Thank you so much, Maija.